Go. It's another bonus episode of Independent Showcase Season 2 on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. And we're talking to a company based out of Liverpool who have a show coming up in April the 2nd. And it is the guys, it's Chris and I forgot your other name.
Jay,
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 sorry. Chris and Jay from Atomic Pro Wrestling. Gents, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Look, we're at the time of recording, it's a couple of weeks away from the
yeah.
show. Now, again, full disclosure, everybody knows the Hitting the Turnbuckle deals with Ignite when we do our stuff. So I kind of know these next few weeks, your stress levels are gaining more, things happen, you're sitting by the phone and you're waiting and you get a message flash up from someone that you booked and you're like, oh shit, here we go. Is it kind of the same? Do you kind of go through that same process?
Yeah, but that's sort of it's like every week forever.
Yeah.
Like we tend to run every 2 months.
Yeah.
So I think so it's like a 2 month cycle, and then when the show has happened, it then just starts again. So yeah, no, it's a nice mix of sort of exciting and terrifying. Like what could go wrong,
Yeah.
and trying to
It's
make up.
always great watching, sort of like hearing people having matches and sort of like going, "Oh, I've tweaked something," and you go, "Oh God, no."
Yeah, yeah. That's the worst message is we get a message of a wrestler saying, right, it's nothing to worry about,
Yeah.
but it's like when someone messages saying, oh, we need to talk. Like, sorry, what? It's the same kind of feeling. But yeah, yeah, as it stands, the next show is going really well. Touch every bit of wood I can see.
If it goes wrong
Um,
now, you're not blaming me.
no, it's like Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, Jay. Yeah.
There's, there's that lovely moment where Harley Hudson did really, really well with TNA,
Yes.
and we all went, "Oh, that's brilliant," and then we went, "Oh, so it's going to be probably going abroad." Then it's sort of like, "Oh, it's great that you've done well." However,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's you want everybody to do well, but at the same time, we don't want to have to change too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have one thing that sort of changed most recently. We had Rob Drake, who
Yes.
is massive star,
Yeah.
one of our main guys,
Mhm.
Lovely
one of our
person.
top men. But he's off to America
He is.
um, for about 6 weeks or so, and bang in the middle of that is our show. Um, so yeah, that was the most sort of recent creative change that we had to pivot on. But it's amazing for Rob, so we can't really be too mad.
Yeah, you can't, when you
Yeah,
get an opportunity like that, you can't, as much
yeah.
through gritted teeth, you're like, yeah, okay. But
Yeah,
anyway,
still a little bit mad, but
yeah,
not too
exactly
mad.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But look, for those people that don't know about Atomic, and I always ask this question to promotions, look, what would you say is Atomic's unique selling point? What separates it, do you think, from everyone else?
Uh,
Oh.
yeah. No, that's a good question. We sort of part of our ethos is we try to shine a big spotlight on people who we know are good,
Mhm.
and are maybe not getting booked in the way that we think that they would excel.
Yeah.
Um, like wrestlers that we know, like if given the opportunity, then these guys will shine. The things, even trying to think of an example, but like Tony Wright,
Yeah.
he he smashes every single match I've ever seen him have. He's amazing in Future Shock. We used him quite heavily. He was our first champion when we done maybe show 5 or 6 when we actually got a belt.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so he's now like getting a massive name for himself. Don't know whether we had any part of that, but I like to think that we did. Um, but yeah, our sort of whole thing is take people that we know are good, give them as much of a spotlight as we can, and then we're quite happy to then be left in their dust.
It's giving
Like
them the
we,
reps, isn't it? It's a sort of like sometimes you don't get the chances and opportunities, and you've got to be doing it constantly. And
Yeah.
if people aren't giving you that go, then you're not going to progress as quickly as you could do. So, like you say, Tony has just come on leaps and bounds since we started with him. Just his character work he's almost like a natural, isn't he?
Oh, he is 100%. Yeah. But yeah, it's like people like Scott Oberman, like a current Atomic champion. Yeah, he's just getting bigger and bigger bookings. He's on Burning Heart this weekend. And yeah, like I've known Scott for years now, and I've just never seen him booked the way that I thought. Like, oh, if you strap a rocket to him in this kind of way, then like he's going to excel. Like, there's no limit to where he can go.
We had him from day one. He opened every one of our shows to begin with, and it was just that's what they say. You either want to be at the start, the first match of the card, or you want to be the headline. And Scott was the first match, and he set the tone perfectly. Whether Sonny Durson was the first one, that was the first match that we had.
Yeah, the first ever Atomic match was Scott Oberman versus Sonny Durson.
And everybody just the audience didn't know what to expect. We didn't really know what to expect, but they went out there. They had a banger, absolute banger, and everybody just went, oh, so this is what this is, and it just set the bar perfectly.
Yeah, it's so that's a very rambling answer to that question, but basically, yeah, we just like to put good wrestlers in wrestling matches and see what happens. That's kind of our
that's great. Honestly, it's great. It's a bit of the same thing. So to sort of slide aside, obviously, I mentioned before we on air, we've got a championship on BritWres, and the idea that I wanted it was that obviously we'd give it to somebody that deserves it and watch it, but it was an idea for them to put them against the best people that we could, because we sponsor the match, so we have to foot the bill at the end of the day. So it's about put them in there with the best person that we can, the budget would allow us to do. And our first champion was a guy called Smashing Mike, who literally, he's like Mr. Motivator in terms of his charisma. He's like, every week he's posting these big pictures. Anyway, he's a character. That's what I'll tell you. And we gave him Eddie Dennis, which was one of the matches that we put in. I think we was meant to have Dries. Dries had to go away he had a match. I mean, Nick Nemeth or something like that, some small name from TNA. So we brought Eddie Dennis in, but the point is he come out of that match and went, I've learned more from that one match than I've done in so long because of the person he's in the ring with. But it was also to give him different types of matches. So he's had like the Eddie Dennis, he's had the Andre the Giant moment with Will Cruz, he's had James Ellis, totally different, technically based guy. But I get it's kind of like what you're saying, just in a sense of you're going to put two guys together, people that not necessarily, or maybe should be places that they're not yet, and just let them go and showcase what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of our whole thing. Like we want to be like a stepping stone for people who we know like can get on like Progress and eventually like the bigger sort of American things. Yeah, we want to help people that we know are good and deserve it. So we kind of book with that in mind, and yeah. So when we plan ahead and we're planning storylines and match types and stuff like that, it's always in the back of our mind of like we want these people to not be available in a year because they've gone to America and they're in TNA or something. Like it is a sort of lofty thing, but I think for some of them it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I'd be very surprised if like Kessler isn't a massive name like in the next 12 months and you don't see Scott Oberman or Progress. Like there's the route is there for these people, and they've all got the talent, like Harley Hudson. She's gonna be massive at some point. So yeah, we just try and get people now and try and book them in smart ways and see what happens.
Do you think nowadays, with the fact that, look, in America, for example, it's not just a WWE anymore. There is so many different companies, and more so than ever before. What I'm saying, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've only been I've only been in BritWres for 3 or 4 years, but in terms of involved in stuff. But I feel like now it seems like the American companies are realizing, blimey hell, these talents over here are actually really, really good. Not just in England, but there's people in Spain and that are coming in and doing some great stuff. But because there is so much so much variety over there now. They have a style that pretty much suits everyone. And now that they've noticed it more, are we going to see more of it in sort of a Brit invasion over into the States and Japan, do you think?
Well, yeah, I think there's always been an element of that. Like
Mm.
AEW have got obviously like Osprey and like Jamie Hayter and Mariah May, like all like three different types of wrestler, and they all sort of came up in different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and even in the WWE, like one of the biggest names is like Drew McIntyre, like
Yep.
Scottish lad. I don't know he went to America and did all that, but yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good, and it helps sort of British wrestlers to see that and be like, oh, there is a pathway.
Yeah.
You just need to find it.
I
And
think I think now that there's more companies over in America, that you don't have to be an archetypal English villain. So like there's it's sort of like you're English. What you're going to be is royalty.
yeah,
Yeah.
And so you can be a different style of Drew's done it slightly differently.
Yeah.
There's been other wrestlers who've been over there, and Will Ospreay's doing his style. So you got all these different styles because there's different promotions who want
Mm.
different things. And I think that again, it's like us. It's sort of like it's a platform, and you can do different things with each of the wrestlers. You don't have to be boxed in a
Mm.
particular kind of I'm British, so I've got to wrestle catch as catch can, and
Yeah.
I've got to do all this kind of stuff. You can be a high flyer, you can be big meaty man, whatever you want to be.
Is a plan for I mean, Atomic, and I don't know if you already are on a streaming thing, and apologies if you are, but would that be something that you'd look to do in like a future sort of get on a regular sort of streaming platform or something like that?
So we tried for our first like handful of shows, we would
Mhm.
upload them to a streaming site for like a couple of quid, and we got like some bites, but I didn't really have time to sort of push that side of things, and
I think you're excited to go through the roof, wouldn't it, if you had to do that on top of everything
yeah, and,
else?
so it was just it wasn't a very interesting process of like upload it to this website and then wait and see what happens. So what we tend to do now, like I think our first 10 shows are just on YouTube.
Mm.
Um, and our 11th and 12th ones would be on YouTube if I managed to find the time to upload them. Um,
And again, it helps a lot of those wrestlers if
Yeah.
things can get seen for free. It means
Yeah.
that the promoters and also fans can go and see those wrestlers and go, oh, this is who you were talking about, or this is the first time I've seen this person, and then they'll get booked to other places, or fans will know what to expect from them.
yeah,
Yeah.
like for me, a lot of Atomic is sort of it's like it's a lot of learning curves. So like I do the graphics myself.
Mhm.
Because I had sort of an interest in graphic design. I'm not a full-time graphic designer, but I've always dabbled. And then when we were doing this, I thought I'll give it a go. And like the difference between our first show and this show is like astronomical.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with like YouTube. It's like I've never really put any effort into YouTube. I didn't really understand it. So now I'm just like teaching myself how all of that works and like what kind of shorts to snip out and post and
It's a punk
um,
ethos, isn't it? It's like that kind of punk sort
yeah,
of DIY kind of.
Mm.
yeah, I'm just trying to figure everything out because I'm a control freak. So
Yep.
yeah,
You know, I have trouble with snipping because we've nearly done 1,000 shows, and I mean, like 3 years. I mean, I wish sad. I know. I mean,
no,
some of them are review
Great.
show. To be fair, like there's
Yeah.
like review shows of wrestling and like Raw,
All
SmackDown.
right.
There's been about 200 interviews, nearly, give or take. And I need to go and start snipping. So I mean, I've started to, but and I kept thinking like last week we interviewed RVD, and I think I need to. There was something that he said I need to get it out there as
Yeah,
a snip, right? And I still haven't done it, and so I know what you mean. It's like, I know what you mean by getting it all snipped. But before we start to take a break and get on to some random stuff, which I kind of told you a little bit about before, I wanted to understand wrestling in a brewery. Now, I do know a company called United Wrestling, and they live in Oxford, and they do it in a brewery. I want to know about this setting because is it a case of like, obviously you've got the beer, which is great for us, and everyone else, but is it that kind of, is it just like a really good setting for a wrestling event in a pub, like pub, you might as well say?
yeah.
What else is there to add?
Yeah, so
Yeah, exactly.
The first few shows, like when I was putting posts out about it and like speaking to people who aren't necessarily wrestling fans, and I would try and sell it at like, yeah, like come for the wrestling. The wrestling's incredible. Like we know we believe in what we're putting in the product.
Mm.
But if you come along and it's not for you, literally all you need to do is just turn around, and you've got 15 to 20 taps of the best beer in Liverpool. So like, why not?
Yeah,
Give it a go.
I don't know if it would work in a Weatherspoons.
No, probably
I
not.
think it-
They'd seen enough of that though, didn't they?
But no, it's so yeah, the venue came about because like I work in I run a couple of bars. I work a lot with a lot of breweries, and when we were looking at like just trying to find a venue, basically the whole point was we wanted something a bit different. We didn't want
Yeah.
sort of a community hall, like we wanted something city centre, a bit different, a different vibe to it. And then yeah, so I was just down in Asvex, just hanging out, talking about beer, and I just sort of looked around the room and I was like, I can get a ring in here. And I was like messaging people going, I think I might have found a venue. Like if they're up for it. And then luckily their bar manager used to train, used to be a wrestler.
Oh,
So it massively helped with like the shorthand of, oh yeah, we're going to put wrestling in here. And when I've spoken to other venues,
mm.
like before Asvex, they're a little bit like, what you want fighting in here? You can't do that. It's like, yes, but no. Like it helped that she knew what wrestling was and like what we were trying to do. Yeah, that's
it's a good atmosphere, isn't it? It's
it
sort
is.
of like
Yeah,
I've seen stuff in America where where they're circling
Yeah.
the ring, and it's sort of like it's you've always said it's trying to bring people in who don't usually go to wrestling events as
Yeah.
well as the regular people, and that is just an extra thing that you can add on there. The amount of people. So I work in one of Chris's bars doing quizzes, and I do comedy as well, and I sell the hell out of it whenever I can. And
Yeah.
every time I meet somebody who has an inkling about wrestling, I'm like, right, okay, you've got to come to this show. And they go, yeah, but it's like British wrestling, isn't it? And you go, yeah, it's not the 1970s. It's not Big Dad. My dad wrestled in that era. And it's a sort of like, I've got to talk to people and go, it's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Also, you can have fun while you're doing it. We managed to get quite a few girls to come along who we gave away tickets for, quiz prizes.
Mm.
And they were going, oh, I don't know about this. They came down, absolutely adored it. And now they're bringing mates, and now they're bringing what you want in wrestling
Yeah.
is for more people to come and see it who wouldn't normally come and see it. And having it in a brewery makes it so much easier.
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it really does. I mean, so again, when we're Ignite, it's kind of like a library. In Ignite, so it's a place called Shenley Road, and it is a library, but it's definitely more like the family friendly side. Yes, you can go and get beer. They've got it's not a brewery, but you can go out and get it.
yeah,
But I do understand like a setting that a bit like that, where you say if you don't enjoy it, you can just turn around and and go and get, what I mean. But there is that. But the important thing, as you rightfully put there, is that people that even if you educate them a little bit and say, look, it's not like what you saw back on World of Sport days. This is, a lot more, and then they'll come and as you say, you give them away to raffle tickets. They've turned up, and now A, they're regulars, and B, they're bringing more people to come and see your show.
Yeah.
And that's
What is not to like about that?
exactly.
We're not sort of like very protective of sort of like this is ours and you can't come to. We've got secret codes and handshakes and stuff like that, and you're not allowed to. And you're only allowed to like John Cena. It's sort of
Oh my God!
no,
After last weekend, I don't think we can like him anymore, right? That's
oh, I love the fact there's kids crying across the world right now, throwing
I
away
do.
their Cena toys.
I will say that, and let's just slight aside before we break away a little bit. I didn't expect it, which was great because obviously sometimes wrestling can be predictable, especially when it's how many times you sat there and gone, oh, here we go, and this. The fact that it's the season that it is, obviously WrestleMania season, and the fact that they're changing things up and everything's a little bit unpredictable has gauged my interest. Because I thought, for me, WrestleMania finished when the Undertaker streak. Then that was the last bit for me. I've been to WrestleMania. I've been to 5 of them, but like the last bit for me because it took the mystique away. Every year I was like, right, who's the Undertaker got? Who's the Undertaker got? Who's the Undertaker?
Yeah.
once he lost, there was nothing for me. I didn't have like, I was like, well, it's just another pay-per-view now.
Yeah.
But they've changed it up, and doing that with Cena just put the ice on the cake, really. And this week with Rhea Ripley dropping the title, it's put an ice on,
Hmm.
and it keeps you guessing, right? So
That's the thing is, if you the thing is that nobody knew the streak was a streak
yeah,
until they made it the streak. So like when you started
exactly.
watching it, you look back at it, and you go, oh, obviously it's the streak. But
Yeah,
like when he's fighting Giant Gonzalez,
at nine,
or
yeah.
and you're like going, what the hell is this?
That's exactly right. Until they started making a big deal out of it. But he should never have lost it. Sorry, that's my thing. That should have been his thing. That should have been. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of him, but my belief is that that's one thing that he should have had and retired with it is like, so it can
Yeah.
never be a touch. That was my thing. But hey ho, look, I digress. That's for another podcast. Right. We'll have a little bit of a break from Atomic. We'll come back to it because I want you to run down your card and everything else for April 2nd in a minute. But so before we went on now, I did mention there was 3 questions that I was going to tell them that I've given you in advance so you could have thinking time. There is going to be a couple of other questions though, and one of them I'm going to start with now that I've given you no thinking time for.
Oh dear.
And the first question actually is one of the ones that stumps pretty much a lot of the guests because there is so many different answers to it, and I suppose it depends on your mood. So, Chris, we'll start with you. Your
Okay.
top 3 wrestling themes are.
Oh,
Oh, good one. You know what? I don't listen to an awful lot, like recreationally. So I'm going to go
That
sort of
question up.
British wrestling ones. So
They're fine.
I love Tony. I love Tony Wrights.
Yep.
This is going to be very Atomic
Yeah,
that's
based.
Fine.
So
that's Lady Marmalade, isn't
it
it?
is, yeah. Pappy Mel, I think.
Yeah.
But it just if because I love it because it fits Tony.
Yeah.
And so when because on the shows as well, I do the audio. So
Yeah.
when I'm about to
Not
press that button,
not a control freak.
no, just do
Not
it.
at all.
No one else wants to do it. So yeah, so when I'm about to press that button, I know that everyone in the room is about to go, hey, and I love it. Like it just makes me really happy.
Power.
Another one is Scott Oberman, our current champion.
When can I say when that started? I was I've got a ring announce.
Yeah.
So the song starts and it goes on forever.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the middle of a ring going, what's going on the first time?
So what Scott has done with Nothing Else Matters by Metallica
Oh yeah.
is he's made it his thing where the song starts and it doesn't come out until like the vocals kick in, which is about 2 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the first few times the crowd were like, what's going on? Like, has he lost? And even I was there going like, come on, Scott, come on. Like I'll get on the little mics we've got being like, can someone fucking find Oberman? But then he comes out and it's perfect. And now, because he's done it often and the crowd know it, like we kill the lights, everyone's got their phone lights out, you know, like the Firefly type thing.
Yeah.
And it's now his thing. And I love that he's like, I've got this idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna brute force it. Everyone's gonna have to sit through it, and eventually it'll work. And I love that it did.
yeah.
And also, he's now champion, so he gets the champion's advantage, right? And they always
Yeah.
wait a little bit of time, don't they, before they come out? That's the champion's
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, there's one guy on I can't remember his username, but he's on Twitter, and because whenever he sees Scott wrestle, like Future Shock or wherever, he always tweets at him saying like, "That took you 1 minute 38 seconds to come out, like between music start and like actually coming through the curtain." And I just love that that's a bit.
Do you know what that is? Is you let the opponent go cold in the ring. No, seriously.
All right, Regal.
Well, no, my dad used to do it with boxing. He said you try and go out second and you let them get cold in the ring.
Okay.
So that you're warmed up and ready to just spark them.
A third one. I'm gonna go left field, and I'm not a massive fan of the wrestler, but I think his theme is great. It's Danhausen.
Yeah.
His theme just makes me knees go. This is really fun. So yeah, I thought I'd go left field. There's obviously like Punk in like the AFI song and stuff like that, but that's just because I like that song.
No.
But yeah, so there you go. That's my 3. Who's
Come on,
yours?
Jay, you'll go.
I will always go because
He watches a lot more wrestling than I do.
I also DJ, so I have on occasion dropped in wrestling themes and
Brilliant.
seen three or four people in a room go yes, and sort of clap me, and the rest of the people are just going, "What the hell is this?" Number one, I think, would be the first theme that give me goosebumps. It's going to sound really bad, but Jericho. Jericho, when he got debuted in WWE,
Yeah.
and it was just like nobody knew what was going on, and then it's sort of like that theme.
Yeah. It just worked, didn't it? It really, like, the Millennium Countdown ended, then you had then you had the Jericho bit. It just all fit really, really well, didn't it?
Yeah, it's like Chris was saying with Tony and with Scott. It's sort of like it's not a wrestler isn't just the wrestling.
No.
It's how they hold themselves. It's the character. It's the music, and all of this adds together so that your audience knows what you are without even having to think about it. And Jericho's was just one of those ones where it gets everybody excited. I'm going to pivot for the second one while I think of a third. And the second one, because I just think it's just cheesy as hell, and it fit the characters, was Billy and Chuck. You look so good to me. You look so good to me. Come on, that's a banger.
On that note, I have got a bonus one.
Oh, go on.
American Males.
American
Males.
Yeah.
I remember that. Bagwell and was it Austin?
Yeah.
Pillman?
No, it was what was he called? Can't remember the second guy. Let's call him that.
So Che very nicely drove us down to All In, the first one.
Oh, good God, that was a drive.
And then the All In, the first Wembley one. So we didn't drink. So me and Deck from the comic got hammered, and on the drive back after it, me and Deck were basically just singing American Males for the entire 4.5 hour drive, while Che just ripped onto the steering wheel harder and harder.
We didn't go to the second one.
Scotty Riggs was the guy.
There you go. And my third one, I'm gonna shoot it out there because I like themes where people go, ooh. Is Taz's, because it just starts with a heartbeat, and I think that's a great
yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Bit like
the Shield as well, didn't it? Because the Shield was like,
yeah.
You know that. The Taz's and the heartbeat. Yeah, it was great.
I normally like lyrics. I do like the 80s where they told you what the wrestler did. It was just sort of like, he's a man. So that's another one. Regal's man.
Oh, real man's man. Yes.
Yeah, but like he's going to take your car away. It's Repo Man. Oh, that's sort of like, this man's got a hammer. Greg the Haliburton. I don't think those are the lyrics, but
no.
Yeah, I think for me the best entrance music is always either an actual song that fits them perfectly, like Edge.
Oh yeah,
that kind of thing.
Lingus,
The older ones were like Stone Cold's Glass Smash, where you're like, oh, that's Stone Cold.
Sometimes it's like the one thing, isn't it? Like with Austin the Glass Smash, you knew that shit was going down. Like the Undertaker's gong, you knew, and Rocks, if you smell, you knew what you're going to get. But I think now everyone's pivoted to like Judas and wanting to sing the song, and it's all about doing that, isn't it now? But my three changed, but my number one always stays the same, and that's Metalingus. Actually, I've got enough tattoos for Edge to give you that. I do like Triple H's, but I like it when there's an edit that you can get on YouTube, and it starts off with the King of Kings, and then it hits into the game so like, behold the King of Kings is only one, and then bang, time to play the game. So it's not a real one, but I'm going to use it. It counts for this. And then I'm going to actually say the one recent, and it's only because my son loves to sing it, is Osprey's Elevation. My son loves to sing it in the car. Yeah, and I'm sad enough to play wrestling songs in the car, so it gets it. It gets it. Anyway, the second question is what? Oh, go on.
The bonus one. Yep. The Mountie. I was saying, like they describe what they do.
He always gets his man, right?
Yeah.
We had a table for the Love of Wrestling. The convention in Manchester.
Yes.
The other week, we were right next to the ring, so we saw all the in-ring interviews and all that. And the Mountie came out, got asked the question, I think maybe by you, because he was doing the ring.
I was helping out doing.
And then the Mountie basically went, Yeah, whatever. Like, it's fine. Who wants to hear me sing my theme song? And he just stood there and just a cappella sang his own theme tune. It's like, that is very
It's
impressive.
the fact that he remembered the words. I was impressed because
Yeah.
I forgot that there was actual lyrics to
Oh
it.
yeah, no, he had a wonderful time.
Actually, saying that there was a few. The Godfather did his, but he
Oh,
just
brilliant.
basically and Mark Henry's is a good one.
Yes.
Somebody's about to get a wig split.
Yeah, that's quite underrated, to be fair. That was a good song.
Yeah.
That was a good song. Right, second question, and this is one that I have told you prior to coming on, which was, what is your favorite match in Atomic so far?
Mine is, well, it sort of happened twice, but probably the second one. Scott Oberman and Teddy Ray.
Damn it, that was mine.
It just the both times that they wrestled. Once was last June. The second one was December, I think, but it was just like one of the best wrestling matches I've seen ever. And yeah, like Teddy Ray is sorry, he's now called Teddy Ray. Used to be 2-Bit. He's just phenomenal.
There's another wrestler that we didn't big up at the beginning. 2-Bit Teddy Ray.
Yeah,
he's absolutely amazing. Because we didn't know what we had on our hands. He's one of those ones where the crowd just went for him. They just went, we like this guy, and we don't care how you're going to present him. We're going to love this guy.
Yeah, I think when we brought him in, he tends to be heel in a lot of places. He was like the Rat King 2-Bit. That was his whole thing.
Northwest Strong.
Yeah, part of Northwest Strong, all that. But for some reason, our crowd just got behind him because, excuse me, our crowd aren't 100% wrestling fans.
No,
because we get a lot of wrestling fans, but we get a lot of like people who are Atomic fans because they took a chance on a show, and some of them just started chanting Rat King and be like, "Hey!" And then I had a friend. She does the Waffly Bollocks wrestling podcast.
Yes.
She came to one of our shows and tweeted out saying, "So, wait, we're cheering the one called Rat King who bites people." And people reply, "Going, yep."
What of it?
In Atomic, yes. And then he's just massive fan favorite, and now he's moved to Australia for 6 months, which is
another one.
Yeah, that really put a block on our booking of Teddy Ray.
Hey, we've got several matches panned out for you with all your Australia, you say? Okay, good opportunity, you say? Okay.
Yeah, I was telling him our plans for the next year of Atomic and Teddy Ray, and he just sort of slowly put on a cork hat and ran away with a suitcase. So yeah, but he'll be back eventually, hopefully.
Mine is the second of that trilogy because there was a trilogy, weren't they? There was Over the Water. We've done three.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was a 2.
I thought they had one, and then the second one was the rematch, and then the third one was where.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we did 2 for the title.
So basically, mine was the second of that trilogy. So the best thing about the trilogy is the third one. Everybody thought that 2-Bit was going to win.
Yeah.
Because it was sort of like, oh, he's got to win on the third one, and he didn't, and everybody was really upset. And I like to see tears. The second one where they had an underrated banger, I think, in Atomic, the crowd just got on side with him and was so upset that he didn't win the second on his second go, and he was thanking the audience, and I was in the ring. And I was getting emotional, and I nearly cried. And it was just sort of like, "Oh, pull yourself together, Che." But it's those are the matches that I where there's an emotional attachment where you can feel that the audience are really invested. When we've had a few matches like that, and a few wrestlers, like you say, Tony Wright is one. Anything if it's not 2-Bit, Teddy Ray. I don't know if it's a match. It's a part of a match. And we have Meat Wagon, which is Troy Ryan and
Anderson
Daniels. And where our ring is situated, it's up against a wall. So if you look at our pictures, there's a great mural behind there. It's up against a wall. And again, it's just one thing that Troy did. He just threw somebody against the wall and he dropped down. And it was a great visual. And everybody just went, "Oh my God, he's dead." and
that was Scott. He just got him up in a press and just went
bang against the wall, and he drops not only hits the wall, drops and then drops behind the canvas, so nobody could see him.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, and that was a great moment. That was the championship match, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that was another good match where it was like two different styles. Troy is built like nobody's business, and now everybody started chanting for the wall. You go wall, wall, wall.
Yeah, Meat Wagon or Troy come out, and the whole crowd just start going wall, wall. It's like he's trying to do other things. So both those, or all of those bits are on YouTube for free. So
I need to see that.
One of the most fun matches we've done. We sort of set up. We did it a little bit too quickly, but it was just too good to not pull the trigger on. But it turned out we did a Team Atomic versus Team Pursuit Pro. It's like Pursuit Pro Wrestling. So it was Nathan Black, Kemper, Will Cruz, and Heath Bateman versus Team Atomic, which was Sam Bailey, Teddy Ray, Troy Ryan, and Harley. And it was just a 4-on-4. It was just chaos. One of the most fun matches I've ever seen. But yeah, it was the way it came about was like we probably could have done it a bit more organically, but we were quite new still, and we just got excited. So we just sort of threw it together and was like, go. And everyone smashed it. We want to sort of revisit that at some point with Pursuit Pro because they're one of the better sort of probably top 3 wrestling schools in the UK. And they just pump out incredible wrestlers. So
it's hard to choose. It's like saying who's your favorite kid when they're all good.
Oh, I chose really easily, didn't I?
Yeah,
I shouldn't have kids.
All the other children are crying now because of you, Chris.
I've got a favorite cat. We've got 3 cats. I've got a favorite. I'm terrible.
The other 2 don't like you when you say that. Don't do that.
Well, the 3 of them don't like me.
You're right then. So your favorite, now this isn't a year, you don't have to specify a particular year of a pay-per-view, but what is, Jay, your favorite wrestling pay-per-view?
I think it's either 17 or 19. Oh, actually, no, tell a lie. AEW All In when we went to London because I don't think I've been to many pay-per-views. I don't think I've been to any pay-per-view. I think my first pay-per-view was like 2 years ago. But I don't know. This is like favorite children. It's to watch on TV.
I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Oh, okay. And I was going to say which one was Rock Austin? Was that in 17?
They had
I Need You, Rock.
I think it means more like what type of pay-per-view.
Yeah, as in like you don't have to specify a year. It's if you had to sit and watch a pay-per-view, what would it be? A Royal Rumble? Would it be WrestleMania? It doesn't matter. Not a year.
Old school Survivor Series.
Yes. Yeah.
When it was proper at 5 and 5, but also they had to form as a group
at the end.
So it was. Not just that. That was great as well.
Yeah.
But they had to have a team name.
Yeah. So Hulkamaniacs versus the $1 Million Men.
Yeah, and it was just sort of like, oh right, okay. So they're all evil and rich, and they're all Hulk Hogan, right? Just Hulk Hogan in it, basically.
Yeah.
So it was like it just set it up perfectly, and then they did the fight at the end.
Yeah.
Where it was
Sole survivors right at the end.
So yeah, and it was just such a good concept. It was just I really enjoyed that as a concept, and then they've just diluted it a bit too much, and it's not really anything anymore.
No.
So it's. I wish they could go back to that, but I don't know if they can because you need to have actual characters like Big Boss Man and
Nikolai Volkov and people like that.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Oh, it's so good. If only we could go back to America versus Russia, and then there was this definitive heels and faces.
Trump and Putin. Who would do that?
They're on the same side. Who would saw that?
Apparently, yeah. Chris, your favorite pay-per-view is?
The old NXT takeovers.
Ooh,
Like if I'm in the mood to watch some wrestling and just want to sort of throw it on, turn my brain off, like I'll throw a takeover on. They never were. There's not a single bad one.
No.
And it's like the addition to that, the old War Games, like the NXT War Games, and AEW wise. Double or Nothing is always fun. Obviously there's not 30 years worth of them, but the ones that there are have been good. I went to one of them in Vegas.
Nice.
So that's got a nice little sentimental. I mean, I don't remember any of it. I was very drunk in Vegas.
It's just like
Shocker.
AEW.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I know I was there. I took pictures. It was great. And it's a shame that they've moved it from Vegas because now it's dead to me. So yeah, I'd say the old takeovers for WWE. I love a Rumble.
Yes.
It's sort of the one big one I've not been to.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I'd love to go to a Rumble, but not the next one in Saudi Arabia.
I literally
Oh,
said
God.
that to Lauren
Yeah,
yesterday.
I'm gonna skip that. Yeah, but they always seem to put like I was thinking about Mania or going to something this year, and then you look at where they are. It's like I don't want to go to
You look where they are, and you look at the
Arizona.
ticket prices, you're like, fuck
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
Okay.
they have jumped up a hell of a lot.
I tell you what, right, this is no word of a lie. I went to the first Raw taping in Manchester that they done when 2005 or whenever it was.
Yeah.
And I was in level 1 of the MEN, so not the floor seat, just as it started tearing. Perfect view, no one, in front of me.
That's the sweet spot, the first
Sweet spot.
first
You got
gig.
it. Yeah. Exactly that. And it was £40, £42 plus, if you count booking fees. I looked at the same seat in the O2 for the live shows, and it was £1,200 and something pound.
Oh,
No way.
that was like all in. Is that when we went there? I was sat slightly away from you, but we were all not that far away from the ring.
No.
I think.
Yeah, I was like, so where we were, me and Deck from Atomic, we were like 20 yards away.
Yeah.
On the floor, but close enough to see, not far from the entrance way. It was great. And then
That was like 80 quid, 100 quid, something like that.
I
think it was under 100 quid.
No, it was like 150, something like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
like, but I met someone they were in the ring bit, right beside the ring, and they were saying like, oh, it was about 350 or something like that. And so I thought, right, I'm never going to do this again. I'm going to get in that ring bit next time.
Yeah.
And then I looked at that, and it was over £1,000.
Yeah. No
And
chance.
then I looked at where I was sat, and it was like 500 quid.
Yeah.
And I looked at the seats where what I paid the first time, and they were like way up in the gods. So I thought, you know what? No.
Surge pricing. That's what it is. Surge pricing.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I'll tell you. I always tell the story on All In, but I'm not going to tell you it on air because I'll bore the tears. Everyone that listens to this will know. There is I don't make it to the first All In, and I'll tell you why afterwards. And if you've listened to the one with Lauren, you'll probably know. But anyway, we move on. The questions that I did tell you. If you could book a dream match at Atomic, what would it be?
It's like anyone ever.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
War Games, but only if Regal says it.
War Games.
Yeah.
We can't have it without Regal.
Yeah, I don't care who's in it. Just,
Yeah.
I just want Regal to walk into the brewery, go, War Game, and then leave. That's all I need. I don't know, like, again, I love Mick Foley.
Yeah.
It's like a sort of hardcore match between Mick Foley and whoever was up for it on the Atomic roster. Like that'd be loads of fun to see.
Put somebody over.
I think so. Thinking of like a future match that could possibly happen, it's like I want to see people who are who wrestle for us now. I want to see them on AEW, NXT, TNA, like holding the title belt in WWE. That's a dream of ours. But yeah, selfishly, I just want Regal to shout War Games right when I'm in the room. That'd be lovely.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I would like to. God, so you can have anything.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Lizzie Evo versus. I'm trying to think of a wrestler that's annoying in WWE.
Chelsea Green.
Yes. There you go. I want to see the Battle of the Mouths. That's what I want to see. It's just sort of like Lizzie is just she's just got a great way of just.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, I love to hear her talk and just badmouth people or just have a go at people, and it's brilliant. And I just love to. Yeah, so I think something like that. Chelsea Green, that's a great shout.
Yeah, should bring Pipe and Niven just for the sake of it as well, and then just but
That'd be cool.
Lizzie can bring someone from the Cutthroat Collective or whatever with her, and just them to have a little promo time first, right, and then they can get on with it. So the last one, again, I told you. So if this was, if not say money was obviously, if all the wrestlers were allowed to come over, like anyone from anywhere, the money wasn't a thing. You've got a fatal four-way to book at Atomic. Who are you choosing for those 4 people?
Uh,
I want Prime Regal. Can we have Prime Regal?
yeah.
Prime Regal?
I want Prime Regal, but
Can you shout War Games?
yeah, you can check War Games. 4 War Games.
Okay, I'll sort of like prime Jeff Hardy. I was a massive Hardy Boys.
Oh, I'm not on board on that one.
Yeah, I was a massive Hardy Boys fan when like before, because everyone has that story of like they watch wrestling and then they didn't watch wrestling for a bit and then they watch wrestling again.
Yeah.
So before I stopped, like I was just massively into the Hardys, and then I started watching again when they had the surprise return.
Yeah.
And I literally jumped up, ran around the room. I watched it live. My girlfriend at the time was just like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
At the time, that was the deal breaker.
Yeah, I did not marry that woman. Trying to, like, I'd love to have someone sort of like Becky Lynch, like just
the man.
Yeah, like it's just the aura around Becky Lynch is incredible. I'd love to have her in an Atomic ring in some capacity. I don't know how she'd do against Jeff Hardy and
I think she'd
Regal. That might be a weird match.
She'd batter Hardy.
Oh yeah.
Regal and Becky, I think it would be a great match just as a singles. I would like to, because I got to meet him and I thanked him, which I didn't think I'd ever. Young Che never thought he'd get to thank this guy, but all of the Nation of Domination, near enough, bar Rock, was it For the Love of Wrestling?
Yes, they was.
And I got to shake the hands with Ron Simmons, and when I was a young lad, as a black lad at that age, to see him win the World Championship was absolutely amazing. I cannot tell you what that was like, and I had to watch it on a VHS after it had happened.
Yeah,
but it was a sort of, I think, was it Vader? They were thinking it was Vader.
Yeah,
nobody
Vader.
gave him a chance. Nobody gave him a chance at winning. It was sort of, and then they painted this all-American Ron Simmons, and his run afterwards wasn't great. But the actual moment was amazing, and I said thank you so much for just winning the title at that point. He was, oh, thank you, man. But I think he's just one of those guys where you just go, I would not want to fight that guy.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah.
In a bar fight, if we're not doing a fatal four-way and doing a bar fight, he's on there. Haku. Who else is there? Yeah, just them two. Nobody had ever an eyeball left.
That would be that's an interesting foursome. I said I wanted to bring her because I'm not getting on with my champion at the minute because he refused to show up at the last show. I wanted to bring Gunther over to chop the living shit out of him. Was the option if I could judge. But guys, look, April 2nd, your biggest show of the year. Talk us through it. I know Leon Slater and Joe Kessler is on the card. That's a dream match waiting to happen. But talk us through the rest of that show.
So I can probably go a bit more in depth now, can't I?
Yeah, can.
Later. So,
let the cat's out of the bag.
So we've got it's Lana Austin Invitational Rumble.
Oh God!
So
is she doing Lana Roki?
She constantly threatens to, and hasn't gotten around to it yet.
It's the reason I bring gaffer tape every single time we go.
So we've been doing a whole series of like Lana Austin Open challenges, which have been loads of fun. Like Kemper answered the last one. And then Lana got her daughter in the ring to try and face Kemper instead, and it was a whole thing.
Her first appearance in a ring, I believe.
Yeah. She's training now, so she'll be like one of the best in the world.
That'd be great. Them two against each other at some point.
So we got the Lana Austin Invitational Rumble because we've just been building the invitationals up, and so that'd be loads of fun. There's loads of loads of Atomic roster in it, a few surprises, and it's gonna be great. We've got Scott Oberman versus Wild Boar, which did. Trying to think of timeline.
You're trying to go. Is this too early to announce?
It's so in the future. What had happened. Scott Oberman, Wild Boar, and Scramble at Burning Heart on
They are.
Saturday in Liverpool. So that's all going to kick off, and eventually Wild Boar is going to be like, I want that title, blah blah blah, fight.
You can sell it someone. Fight.
That's what they're going to do.
Fight.
Boar doesn't talk much. He
I
fights.
know.
We've got
The tag team match.
yes. Oh, we've got our biggest, biggest.
Reinforcing the ring for that one.
Yes. So we've got a fatal four-way tag match for the tag champions, tag belts, which Act 2 hold it currently.
Oh, they're good.
Meat Wagon are in the match as well. Trail of Dead, which is Chase Alcala and Lewis Johnson and Max Brooker, be two of them.
Free rules.
Yeah. And then we've got Quintessential, who are local lads. They
Hood and
Heard about them?
Christy.
Yeah,
they are brilliant. They are brilliant.
If you have any say in where you're booking, Quintessential, they're the future.
Funnily enough, just quickly, so we had at Ignite, they had Act 2 booked. They got a TNT booking, so they couldn't come. And one of the team names that we were given, they didn't get brought in, was Quintessential at the time.
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
Yeah, no, they
With it just for Christie's moustache alone.
yes.
It's just sort of like a lad that young should not have facial hair that thick and luscious.
Yeah, luscious.
It's just wrong. I feel less of a man every time I stand near him.
But so that match is four-way tag match. It's what we call the Meltdown match, which is kind of our version of hardcore.
Okay.
But it's more like anything goes. So there is a referee there. The referee doesn't get involved all that much. So there's not. They're just there to count the pin.
Yeah.
We're possibly going to be a ladder match if I can work out the logistics of hooking the belts to the ceiling. So it's going to be our biggest, silliest match we've ever done. It's going to be amazing. All four teams are really, really good wrestlers, really good teams.
I've got to give a shout out for content as well out of the venue that we're in. It's just been they've been so accommodating. The fact that we're going to be able to do so much with the entrances. There's a disco ball there. There is it's just sort of like, oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we've never run content. This is a new venue to us. With it being our second birthday, we thought go all out. We spoke to them. It's the home of it's a Bongos Bingo. You might not have heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yes.
It's a massive phenomenon, but basically it's a purpose-built Bongos Bingo hall. And yeah, they've been great. So then we've also got FTM, which is another tag team who should definitely be on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
Critchy and Tom McCall. Critchy is more Scouse than is possible, but he makes it work.
And then Critchy's mate, I can't remember what it's called.
and Tom McCall, Critchy's mate, who is very Scouse, but you never know because he's very quiet.
Yeah.
So we got those guys versus Lizzie and Rio.
Oh,
So that's been a whole thing bubbling over for the last couple of shows. Critchy versus Lizzie, all kicked off at the end of the last one. And basically Lizzie called out FTM, said, right, I'm going to beat the shit out of you guys. I'm going to bring a mate. And she's bringing Rio. So,
It's one of those ones where you just want to see a couple of people get battered. We're supposed to not have any favourites or anything like that, or be unbiased as a ring announcer, but I hope Richie and Tom get the shit out.
And another one that you've got to sort of make the most of before she's gone, obviously Rio.
Yeah.
I saw like rumors that she's like on every radar in the world. So fully expect her to be signed somewhere on the 1st of April. So
I think there's something. I think there's a tryout coming up in a few weeks that quite a few of them have been appointed to. So.
Obviously, like want the world for her, but
make this show, please.
After
Hi, Chris. Can you accept the charges on this call from America? What?
Another match. Sam Bailey, Tony Wright. That's been like over the last 4 or 5 things.
Our first ever champion.
First
Tony
ever
Wright.
Champion. Sam Bailey had a title shot last show. Tony was the guest ref. The show before, Sam helped Tony out of a pickle against Kessler. So they thought, Tony was like, "Oh, I'll help out. I'll guest ref." It all went tits up. I'm not sure if I can swear actually. So it all went wrong.
We've swore a lot, I think, all the way through this, mate.
That's fine.
I've been keeping my
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all going to go off. And there is,
And Bailey was Tony's mentor as well. He's
yes,
trained him in Future Shock Wrestling. They've been brilliant with us as well.
yeah,
And Bailey's, but you know, it's student versus mentor.
yeah,
It's one of those Star Warsy kind of feels, isn't it?
yeah. And one more match. There are others that are going to be sort of announced
Yep.
kind of on the day as well. One more match that we've not announced yet is Kemper versus Scotty Rock. So
Oh, I like
Scotty's not,
Scotty.
yeah, so Scotty's not wrestled for us before. He's been on our radar forever.
You're in for a treat.
And yeah, so we were thinking about what matches we want to see. And you know, we've had a lot of storylines building up, so a lot of stuff is paying off at this show. It's our second birthday. It's kind of our mania. It's a bigger venue, but we thought, you know what, let's just throw on a match that we know will be looking great, and see what comes of it. So we've done Kemper, like one of the best big men, like,
Mhm.
probably again top three
Yeah.
in the UK, and Scotty, who every time I've seen him has just done something astounding, and he's just moved far too quick and doesn't make any sense. And
We are getting older though, aren't we? That's probably what it is. It's
yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a hopefully going to be a classic, big man,
Little man.
speedy man
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah. So massively looking forward to that. And then there's a bunch more surprises and other things we've got planned.
yeah.
That
It's just
we'll hopefully pull off. Yeah.
it's a second birthday. It's sort of like it's great to be able to be into our second year. Hopefully,
Yeah.
looking forward to a third year. Now it's just trying to get the word out there and tell
Mhm.
everybody how good Brit wrestling is. Great anyway.
Yeah.
It's on its renaissance now. It's just trying to get those people who are lapsed, people who might not want to give it another try, people who have not seen it for a while. Just get all of the fans that we possibly can. We keep talking about working together with other wrestling promotions, and if one rises, everybody can rise.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing is we just want to get it out as in front of as many eyes as possible. We is just put on the best possible wrestling show as yours will be, as everybody's will be. And it'd be lovely to have so many people there just in this new venue to see if we want to try and do it again, don't we?
Eventually, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The plan is sort of use content, the venue as our mania. So if this one goes well, then the venue will be happy, we'll be happy, and yeah, it's gonna be sick.
Well,
Yeah,
But there's every match on that card is it could be they always say you want to steal the show.
yeah.
Each one of them I am looking forward to. I get to ring announce them. It's brilliant. I get to do I get to read out everybody's stuff and everything like that and get all the crowd going and stuff like that. And it's brilliant. It is. I don't do that much. Everybody thinks I do a lot. I just talk in the middle of a ring. But it is great. We've had, even though it's in a brewery, we've got there has been a few kids there, and there's a lot of adults who are very childish as well.
Yeah.
But it's great to see their faces when they know that certain people are coming out, and each one of the wrestlers that we've got on this show
Yeah.
is just a talent. As we said at the beginning, each one of them has the potential to go on and do bigger and better things.
Yeah.
And we want all the people over here to see our show and go, I saw them there first.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's sort of like I can't wish for a better card at this moment in time, and I hope that we can get as many people crammed into that room so they can see how good it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've I think front row seats are sold out. The second and third rows, I think they might even be sold out. And we've got a few hundred people, just general. But the room is absolutely massive, so I think selling out it's unlikely.
Yeah,
But
when it's not WrestleMania yet, but
no, but we've sold more tickets to this show than we have for any of our other shows.
Brilliant.
Every other show we've done is sold out. So yeah, it's a bit of a different dynamic this one because normally by this point a month in advance, I'm like, yeah, no, we're definitely we're going to sell out. So this one is it's a little bit nerve-wracking in case
logistically it's different. I think is the best way of putting it. Logistically, we were all sort of like very tightly sort of
all quite tense.
Yeah. But at the same time, it sells itself almost. That's how good it is.
Yeah.
I'm just sometimes I don't ring announce because I've accidentally booked myself into other things comedy wise. I forgot I had the Leicester Comedy Festival, but it's great being a fan but also part of it. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it as a fan, but also somebody who's going to get to be part of the show as well. And I just say, as I'm going to I want all my family to come and see it, and just sort of like, oh, that's what you do. That's what you do. You get paid for that.
Yeah, on a very personal level, because as Vex, it's incredibly DIY. We use one of their walls as our like Tron.
Yeah.
So we go down, set my laptop up, set all the speakers up ourselves, set the projector up to aim at the wall. It is 100% like DIY. Like but at Content, we did a bit of a tech thing the other day, and this desk just full of buttons,
Chris has got new toys.
and I can't wait to press them all. Like there's a button that you press, and every light in the building just aims at the disco ball. I'm like, Tony, right? Like I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play Lady Marmalade. I'm gonna press this button, and everyone's gonna go. Woo! I can't wait.
You should come to the show just for that.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, Chris is upstairs pressing his button.
Yeah, we were talking before about clipping bits out of things for shorts. The first one I'm gonna do is just gonna be Tony's entrance.
Yeah.
And I can see it in my mind's eye already. That's 100% what I'm going to do. It's going to go viral. We're all going to be millionaires. It's going to be great.
Oh, cool. Millionaires at last.
There you go. But tickets, obviously, as you mentioned, still on sale. I believe it's Dice where you can get them. Is that right?
It is, yeah. This is the first time we've used Dice, but it's the venue's preferred option. Again, we normally do it through Shopify because that gives me the most control over things.
Yeah.
And I get a notification on my phone every time we sell something, and it is lovely. It does like a ka-ching noise.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll be sat working, and my phone will just go ka-ching, and it's like. So that's wonderful. But yeah, this time it's Dice, so I haven't got live updates on tickets, and it's killing me.
It'll be
But
fine.
it's going well. So yeah, dice.fm.
Tickets, so you can go through our website, which is
we are WrestleAtomic on everything. So the handle is @WrestleAtomic. If you search WrestleAtomic on any of the various social medias, including TikTok, which I don't understand, but we have someone for that. So
only younger.
yes,
So we can need a young person to explain TikTok to us.
Yeah, as a 38-year-old man, I think I'm not legally allowed on TikTok. So yeah, we outsource that to someone who is legally allowed on it. But yeah, we are at WrestleAtomic on literally everything. Put that into Google, we'll pop up 10, 15 times. So yeah.
If it's somebody's birthday, get him a ticket. If it's your dad's hitting 70, get him a ticket. He'll remember wrestling from back in the day. If Valentine's Day ticket, you forgot to get something for Valentine's. No, but like if you forgot to get somebody something for Valentine's Day, you go, here's tickets to Atomic. You're going to get to see some great wrestling
in mid-March.
I still love you. Please don't leave me.
Remember a month ago when I was bad.
Yeah,
I've made up for it.
Yeah, there you go. Sort of like any reason that you can think of.
And
tickets to Atomic.
Any spurious reason. Any tangent.
Easter. Well,
the
rebirth of Jesus and all that kind of.
Yeah, Easter eggs have gotten smaller this year. They're not
smaller.
They're kind of. Yeah. Kind of concave, like they look
smaller, but they cost more money.
Yeah. So don't buy those. Buy tickets instead.
Yeah,
exactly.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
Exactly
that.
We'll wrap the tickets in a gold foil for you if you want. Like,
put them in a little box.
Yeah, in a mug. Atomic mug. There you go.
There you go, everyone. Get down to the biggest show in Atomic's short history so far. No doubt it'll be great. No doubt you'll have a third year and a fourth year and a fifth year as well. But before you guys go, I need to run down a few bits. Big thanks to RVD for coming on last week. That was a great chat. If you want to see that, go to our special guest list where you can see Buff Bagwell, DDP, Jake Roberts, Eric Bischoff 3 times if you like him that many times. Vince Russo twice. If you really want a bit of fun, go and see that. Demolition are on there as well, and these guys, of course, from Atomic.
Sorry, Barry Darso, Repo Man.
Yes, there you go. That's what I wanted to get it in.
Repo Man.
That's exactly what I wanted to get it in. And also, obviously, come and join us on May the 18th at Ignite Last Stand. Yes, my turnbuckle champion Mark True is back from my sins from Japan. He will finally be defending that championship, which he refused to defend in February, on the line against #1 contender Aluna. And then do not forget, September the 21st, date for everyone's diary. Why, you say? Buckle Up 3. Yes, the trilogy, our last co-produced show with Ignite. We've put on 2. They've both sold out like your show will. And we're going to make it the third time, make it a hat trick. We won't book it on the European Cup final like we did last year. Although, yes, that was the look that we gave. But it did sell out, to be fair. But it will sell out again this year. The tickets will go on sale in July, so go and get them. But Chris, Che, thank you and good luck for the show. You won't need it anyway. I'll look forward to seeing it. I always say I will try and get to these shows, but I can't keep promising everybody because there's not enough miles. But I will definitely try and get up there to see a show in the future. I'll let you guys know if I do.
Always welcome.
Yeah, of course.
It'll be great. Guys, this has been the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. They have been Atomic Wrestling. Go and see them on April the 2nd. And until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe. Good night.